Okay, guys, I am 26 days out from the Mr. Olympia. As you can see right here, 26 days. So, past Saturday, and it's Monday right now, I was exactly 4 weeks out, along with everybody else. And we all know the venue has been moved from Las Vegas to Orlando, Florida, which to me is a much better location because that's closer to my country, but I also have to quarantine in a different country and it's en route to Orlando. So, for you who don't know, when you travel from Europe to America, you have to go in quarantine for 14 days in a different country than a European country. At least for the Netherlands, that's the case. So what you then have to do is you actually have to go 3 weeks in advance before the show. So I'm actually leaving next Monday. So in a week I'm leaving. What you then have to do is go to another country for 14 days. And then, once those 14 days are up, only then you're allowed inside America. So that's what we're doing. We're going to make the most out of it. And the big advantage for me is when I'm out there, I won't have anything else to do but bodybuilding. Right here, I'm showing you my incredible son, Dexter. He is 11 weeks and 3 days old, I believe. So he's doing quite well, growing quite quickly, as expected, of course. He is drinking the most anabolic liquid there is, breast milk. A lot of people are jealous. A lot of bodybuilders buy this stuff, but he gets it with every meal, every single day, more consistent than any bodybuilder on the planet. But yes, having a son while being on prep is different. Not saying it's more difficult or anything like that, because you get a lot in return, a lot of feelings you've never had before. And by the way, the sound you hear in the background, we live in an apartment complex and people are usually just, restyling or building or doing stuff to their home. So that's what you're hearing right there, a drill. But anyway, sleep at the first, when he was born, and the first 5 to 6 weeks was quite impaired, and that was to be expected, but I did not expect it to become quite difficult when you're in prep. I always thought, well, I don't need as much sleep, even though I did sleep at least 8 to 9 hours because I have the luxury to do so. So I did that before, so I was like, well, I always feel rested. I'm a night person, so I go to bed quite late always. So I was like, I don't mind waking up in the night, I'll be fine. Yes, the first few nights I was, but after that, it got quite bad because we didn't have a structure, we didn't really have a rhythm yet. It was still an unknown how to deal with a baby boy. But now we are a lot more efficient with it, and we know exactly what to do in order to get as long night rest as possible. And I have to say, my girlfriend Marley, his mother, of course, has been doing amazing. So without her support, it would have been a lot more difficult as well. Because I realize when I'm in prep, I do change a little bit. I try to remain the same for as long as possible, mentally I mean, but after a while you do change, you become a bit more short-fused. But what I've learned throughout my preps, my years of a bodybuilder, is that the most important thing is before you do or say anything, think about it first. Because if you don't, and you say what's on your mind right away, things will go south quite quickly. And that's not what you want. That's not what you want. So what you want is to still have a normal conversation like you would normally have. Realize that your thought processes, your irritation levels, your aggressiveness might be increased a little bit, but they are all artificial because of the prep, because you don't get to eat what you want. You're hungry all the time. Plus, I'm the one deciding to do this bodybuilding prep. So I should be the only one to reap the consequences the negative stuff revolving around it, because I'm the one choosing for it. But anyway, enough about that. I wanted to give you an update on how everything is going. So I'll be doing this at least once a week, but trust me, when I'm in the country, well, where I'll be quarantining at, and that country will be revealed quite soon, in a week, then I'll be recording every single day, vlogging exactly what I'm doing towards the end of the prep of the Olympia 2020. So that's going to be exciting. So last time you saw a full day of eating video, every single meal still had carbohydrates. Let's switch it like this for a second, because now I'm going to really talking about nutrition. But anyway, in terms of nutrition, things have changed quite a lot. I realized that I wanted to be in shape quite quickly, because you simply don't know how consistent you can be when you're abroad. So here, I have all my food, I have all my supplements, I have everything I need. You know, I have the gym, I can do my cardio exactly when I want to, I can have a rhythm that every single day will be the same to achieve conditioning, for example. When I'm abroad, I don't know if I'm able to do that to the full 100% that I'm doing it right now. So in the better shape I am before I get there, the better it'll be for the end result. So what I decided to do is to pick things up a notch, and every single meal used to have carbohydrates in my meal plan, and they differed between the leg day and back day and rest day, for example. So on a leg day will be 120 grams of oats and 50 grams of rice with every single meal, then 100 grams of rice post-workout, or 120, and then even with the last meal I would have some cream of wheat type product, 40 grams or 50 grams at least. All of that is gone. Okay, so here we are taking a look at my nutrition as it was a couple of weeks ago when you were actually following my full day of eating videos. This was pretty much all of the meals of the day. And you can see that the yellow in all of these meals, that stands for the carbs. So there's carbs in every single meal, especially in meal number 1, 99 grams. And in the rest of the meals, basmati rice, some sweet potatoes, and cream of wheat at the very last meal. So even the last meal had some carbs, and even some foods like a cheese that I put in there. So this definitely is not the meal plan that I'm following at the moment. In fact, this is the meal plan I'm following right now. So just look at the difference in calories. This is 3,940 and this is 2,670. So that's pretty much a 1,300 calorie difference comparing the two. Now I do have to say, one of these meals, if this is on a training day, will contain about 40 grams of rice post-workout, but that's it. The rest is pretty simple. As I mentioned, only the yellow is the carb, so that's in the breakfast. I keep the carbs in there for as long as possible because I already am 1.5 kilos only above my weight limit with still 3.5 weeks to go. I don't want to drop my calories way too low. So what do we have here? We have 6 meals, and in the last meal plan I followed, they were 5 meals. Now I prefer 5 meals on the training day because in the training itself, it's like I don't eat 2 hours before the training because then I have an empty stomach to train properly. And then the training itself is about 2 hours in total. So that's at least 4 hours in total that you don't eat. And then you start eating again. So depending on how late you get up, you would have to cram in the meals either before or after training to be able to get that extra meal in. So 5 meals was a lot more practical to me. And honestly, whether you eat 5 or 6 meals doesn't matter as much, but on a rest day there is a lot more time left, and then I can also divide the protein better. As you can see, it's pretty much 50 grams on all meals except the breakfast, because the breakfast also has been proven that you're able to uptake the protein even better because you were fasting the whole night. So here the protein source is Whey Isolate Gladiator Pro, the highest possible quality you can imagine, and also some liquid egg whites. I like to add liquid egg whites in my cream of rice in the morning because honestly it just puffs up the entire meal. So I add water to the cream of rice, but also the liquid egg whites, and in the microwave you actually cook the egg whites, and if you stir it actually will cook into a very nice thick meal instead of actually a cooked egg, because if you don't look out, if you don't stir it, it's going to be one big mess, and that's not what you want. However, the rest of the meals is just white fish, one egg, and vegetables. So each meal then still contains some healthy fats, no added fats at all, except for the 100% dark chocolate in the morning. And this is my refeed plan. So when I follow that plan for a couple of days with the low amount of carbs, I might encounter a day where I lose like a kilo overnight or way too much overnight. In that case, I have a refeed plan that I always follow to make sure that my weight doesn't plummet down, because whenever you get close to a contest, your metabolism can actually increase as your body is very efficient at that moment if you've done everything right. You're also doing a lot of cardio, still training very hard, so you're still burning a lot of calories. And if it goes too quickly, then having a refeed plan really helps. It helps actually fill out the muscles again, get your strength back up for the next couple of workouts, and it also helps with fat loss because it kind of is like a carb cycle where you have a lot of low carb days here and then have one high carb day, well, relatively high carb day here. The difference is though, the carbs increase, but the fats, they decrease. As you can see, again, the only time I added fats to the diet is in the breakfast here. So only the dark chocolate, again 100% in the breakfast. The rest is pure white fish and basmati rice. And this time the vegetables are squash. Now it can be either squash, cucumber, zucchini, eggplant, bell pepper, carrots, anything that digests really well. Because the more carbs I take in, the more difficult it becomes for your body to properly digest and not bloat your stomach. After the workout, I have a Whey Isolate shake. And it's also been proven pretty lately, I believe, that if you only take the Whey Isolate, you do get a very big spike in muscle protein synthesis, but to elongate the effect of muscle protein synthesis, you need a whole meal afterwards. So you can't expect all the recovery, all the protein necessary to repair and build that muscle to be present in only the shake. You also need the whole meal afterwards pretty quickly. So what I usually do, I just drink the shake right after the training. It's a Whey Isolate shake of this quality. As you can see, 55 grams of protein in 60 grams with minimal carbs and fats. So I drink that shake, then prepare this meal, put it in the microwave. 15 minutes later, I pretty much am eating this meal, and also add some extra salt in here as well. And the only other thing compared to the other meals is more basmati rice, 150 grams, and the extra kiwi. And also the last meal of the day here also has carbs because I still will have trained that day. So, having 2 meals with carbs at least after a training like that will definitely aid in recovery, but only on a refeed day. On a regular day, no carbs, even after the workout. At least the second meal after the workout doesn't have any carbs. So this is pretty much the diet that I'm following right now. So as you saw, those were the changes necessary to make sure that my conditioning went the right direction really quickly. And right now, I'm very happy with the look that I currently have conditioning wise. And I make sure that every time that I'm too flat, I have a high day in between to make sure that I don't go down way too quickly. Because when I get sub 114 kilograms, that's when things always go really quickly. Especially when I travel, something happens. It's like my metabolism increases exponentially. in terms of not being able to hold my weight anymore. Because when I weigh about around 113 here, when I travel there, I will be below the weight limit immediately, below 112. And to get above 112 again, that's a challenge. Because physically it's not a challenge because I can eat that amount, but mentally you don't want to all of a sudden eat more without a proper explanation why. Yes, you can see the weight, yes, you can see that you're flat, you gotta eat more, but you still want to be in that mindset of getting into a better conditioning, especially when you're 3 to 2 weeks out. So the conditioning this time is my number one priority. I know I built mass in the proper places, so that'll be an improvement upon my previous physique. Pair that with the extra conditioning and I'll show something very different from previous years. Alright, we also have some cardio and activity. And the cardio that I do, which I will explain very soon after this, is not actually cardio in a traditional sense where I pick 60 minutes a day and do my cardio in those 60 minutes. I track my steps with this watch. The accuracy is high enough because I wear it all the time, and I know, if you wear it all the time every single day and you see a number up here, okay, I'm gonna go for that number and I'm gonna increase that number every single time. For example, I usually had 7,000 steps at the beginning of prep, then I went to 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. Now it's around 10,500 and I try to hit that every single day. So if I happen to be active throughout the day regardless, I would only have to do my morning walk, which I do with the dog or with little Dexter over here because they both like it, so I make it something practical. But if I then am active throughout the day and at the end of the day I see, I already took all of my steps I need, I'm not gonna do that extra cardio. So right now, for example, I'm doing some cardio. It's the second cardio session of the day, but as I mentioned to you guys before, I'm not really counting it as cardio, I'm counting it as steps. But after a while you get it in a true routine, knowing exactly how much you need to do in order to get your steps down. So for me, it's between 10 and 11,000 steps a day. So I always walk the dog, so it's kind of a practical thing. So I just like to make it practical instead of solely going out the door just to do cardio. It's something I used to do a lot. So I used to wake up for the Romania Pro show and then an hour of cardio walking outside, sometimes a bit more, and that was it for the entire day. So that was the most cardio I pretty much did. Now I'm walking in the morning and I'm walking throughout the day, watching my steps, and then I'm finishing off the amount of steps I need in the night cardio. That's the big benefit. So if I normally would do the hour of cardio in the morning, I would get about 7,000 steps maybe, and now I need in between 10 and 11,000. So if I would then not have an active day, I would have not achieved those 10,000 steps, which now I consistently do. So that's the big difference with just doing cardio every single day and counting your steps, knowing that you're going to be consistent with it. Okay guys, that was my update for 4 weeks out of the Mr. Olympia. Obviously, I'm gonna do a full day of eating video, but I just wanted to update you on how things were going because, I don't want to post all these isolated workouts and full days of eating. I want to combine them together, and that's gonna happen for sure when I vlog every single day, which I will do. But a Q&A is coming up next, so if you have any more questions for me, ask them down below. I already picked out some in my Instagram DM, so if you want your question answered on a video like this, make sure to add the hashtag Q&A. And as you can hear, it's time for me to go. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.